Greetings, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. It's exciting to be with you guys, as always. A long week. I'm trying to get one in here before this Friday night right now. Late, it's probably about 11 o'clock, 11:15. Trying to get one in before the end of the night here. And we'll probably do a couple over the weekend, but we're going to try to do one tonight. So hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are on your purpose. Hope you guys continue to enjoy this beautiful, now it's getting a little colder here, right? I think it's getting around 30 degrees. So we're getting back to the good weather, not this hot weather that we've been suffering through the last couple days. I'm just joking. All right, so we talk about retention again. We're talking about trying to become the best person you can become. And you're trying to kind of look for all these type of things that are going to make you a strong person. In a male situation, a strong masculine person, so you can go out and do the things that men need to do. Men used to do in the old days, provide, protect, those type of things. And you need to have that strength that's physical, intellectual, spiritual, those type of things to overcome a lot of the world's temptations and issues that we deal with all the time. And you see the world right now is a lot of chaos because people have lost their way, and a lot of people just continue to go in the wrong direction, thinking that they're right and thinking that there is no God and those type of things, and they're going to find out the hard way that they're wrong. And unfortunately, hopefully they can get saved, and we can save a lot of people. But in the meantime, we're going through a lot of issues trying to figure out how to get to that point where people can really respect and love each other and be respectful with each other. And that's not easy to kind of do in this kind of society when people are very self-centered and they don't care about following any kind of laws, whether it's regular legal laws that man creates or the laws that God's developed and created and put down for us through Moses and other people. So, all right. So, and of course, our Lord Jesus Christ as well. So I want to focus on Eduardo. Eduardo, a shout out to you, my friend, on this one. The reason this works, and let me kind of go back a little bit on this thing. The reason why retention is important, not only because it provides you self-control, but it also provides you a level of happiness eventually. Now, it may not happen right away, but the happiness occurs for a number of reasons. And I guess it did for me. So I'm going to just use my example here. When I was going through a lot of these type of ups and downs when it came to retention, and I didn't really kind of understand the whole process. And I was doing the Fountain of Youth with Kelder since 1998. Now, before that, it was even harder. And I had bits of depression and different types of things, anxiety in my life, because it was just very difficult. Plus, I had played football in high school and college. I had a lot of injuries, and those type of things made it much more difficult for me to enjoy basic types of things. And then I had a family and kids, and the kids were all smaller, and it was a lot of the stress with working, 65 hours a week and trying to, have all these things. And I wasn't in a job that I was happy with. The job I'm with now, the things I do now, with all the things that I do in helping people, I love doing. And so things are much better now. But back then, it was very stressful. And it was a lot of issues. And so when I got to the doctors and when I was in my 30s, around 1995, 98, some of that area, I was really not in good shape. And so I wasn't happy as well. And that's the biggest thing. I think you have to be a person who is, a warrior has to be happy. They have to be happy with what they're doing. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what kind of fancy cars, fancy houses, fancy men, women are in your life. If you're not happy inside, none of that matters. And eventually you'll destroy that or destroy yourself in the meantime because of it. This is why people go, in my opinion, get bored. They're not happy. They're not happy. They don't have that joy and peace we've talked about before. And Eduardo brings this up in a really interesting point, talking about happiness. And I think that he's right on target here. You have to have a certain level of happiness inside. And semen retention does this for a number of reasons. Well, first of all, you're connecting back with God. I believe you're keeping those things within yourself that God gave you, therefore becoming more whole as a person. And anytime you're like that, you're going to connect better with your Creator because you're in full force. And that just makes, sense when you look at it logically. Whether you believe in the science or anything like that, the idea is that you're not giving away all your energy. You're keeping that. So you have time and strength to focus more on those things that are beyond just the physical. Now, you also realize when you do this that there is a physical side, but there's also a spiritual side. And now you realize that there's more to it than just the physical energy. Now you become stronger mentally, and you become stronger from a spiritual standpoint, and now you can actually kind of reach a different level. And that's what I've experienced over the last, now we're getting close to 1,000 days now, 980, something like that. And I've experienced a lot of a closer alignment with God and understanding of a bigger picture. As a result of that, there's a lot of benefits we talk about, and it just continually blows my mind of how women who never talked to me, never smiled, never really had a lot of interaction with me are just, and you're talking about women in their 20s and 30s, are just, and I'm 61, guys, so this is a lot different than I'm ever used to. And sometimes I have to kind of just run away from it. And I'm in a position where I do a lot of teaching and working with people, and so it's not always that easy to do that. But you find yourself in a lot of comical situations, and people they have crushes and all these type of things, and you have to kind of deal with that. And so that's part of the challenge with retention, is knowing that you are going to be a highly attractive young man, an older man, and masculine man that women don't see. And they're staring at you, and they basically see what they understand, something that is different about you. And they don't know what it is necessarily, but they see it, and they become highly attracted to it. And so you're going to get people who come chasing around for you, and you have to kind of deal with that. But part of that really is realizing how to handle those situations. And so I've become better with that now, realizing that's what's going to happen in most cases. And so as a result of that, now I kind of deal with it and saying, okay, this is a nice, flattering type of thing, but trying to kind of, joke it off, do different things with it so that it's not something that happens, not taking that all that seriously, but in the meantime, not disrespecting the person and how they feel and how they're reacting. So it's kind of a combination of both. But the reason I bring that up is because, again, as you think about this, those type of things, because you're keeping your energy, you feel less depressed and anxiety. You less negative, less these things, because now you're not being bothered by outside forces. Whether or not you're stressed out with money, all these type of things, all these things are turned around in your mind, thinking, okay, this may not be so good right now, but as a warrior, I'm going to continue battling on, and I'm going to continue to, make money. I'm going to continue to succeed, and eventually all this will happen. I just got to keep trying and keep battling, as we talk about battling on all the time. Continue to battle on. And as a result of that, then you become a lot more secure within yourself, and now you have this thing, and you can call it different things you want, but you have this feeling of just that, you kind of understand what's going on. It's almost like you have a connection with the universe, God. You realize you're flowing with the universe now. Now you're not against the universe. I think when you end up, it's almost like a little river running, or a wave of some sort, right? If you continue to do this, if you're running with it, it's going to flow really well. But if you're going against the wave, it's difficult. Now, there's some advantages. I mean, airplanes go against the wind sometimes, and they become stronger doing that. But on the other hand, you want to have life being easy sometimes, and you want to be able to flow with the water, flow with the wind in the right direction. And so because of that, this is what happens with life. The old saying is, you don't bend like the willow. You bend like the willow, but you don't break like the oak tree. Oak trees would break down in storms, and when there's storms, oak trees break down, and willows just bend, and they keep going. And that's the way you should be when it comes to those stress levels and anxieties as a warrior. Do not allow those things to influence your life. And it's much easier to handle those things, I have found, in my life at least, with retention. And I think because of that, I'm able to have a level of self-discipline, and I'm able to handle those things better overall. along with the cold showers and the fasting. I'm learning a lot of those type of things. And so as a result of that, then, as you feel better, you feel less anxiety, you feel more secure, you feel more at peace. And the peace then brings a lot of joy and then brings the happiness. And so your joy and happiness comes from the fact that you're doing something that 1% of the people in this world do. You're doing something that is connecting you closer to your God and your creator. And you're doing something in which you're connecting with the things around you to make things better. And I just am happy no matter what kind of things are going on in my life, stresses here and there. I have found over the last 2 years that I just deal with things in a totally different way, in a totally different manner than I used to. And I just feel at peace that no matter what happens, things are going to go well. And then I always look at things like saying, I'm 61, who knows how long I'm going to continue living, but I enjoy every day as I come along, and this life is very glorious and happy. Guys, I didn't think like this 3 years ago. Since I started this, 1,000 days ago, I wasn't thinking like that. I always was on edge and anxiety and never knowing what's happening from one minute to another and worried about this and worried about that. And you're not worrying about that anymore. I mean, it's almost like a feeling of just calmness and happiness. It's just like you're feeling relaxed. You're feeling strong enough that you can handle any situation that comes up. God will give you the answer, and God always does. If you just listen and stay quiet and listen to God, God will tell you the answer to how to solve your situations. So it's always great to talk about this. And Eduardo, once again, a shout out to you, my friend. I love talking about this because I feel so joyful and happy and so powerful with this thing that we're talking about with semen retention that I just can't express, how strong I feel. I'm at 61 and I feel like I'm 25 years old. If you just feel 20, I feel so strong that it's like overwhelming sometimes. And that's why I have to continue doing things. This is why I'm up to 11:30, 12 o'clock working, sometimes 1 in the morning working on things, because I have an abundance of energy that God has blessed me with, and I want to do something with it. I'm not just going to sit there and watch TV or sit there and play video games or sit there and just kind of watch images and pictures that don't serve any purpose anymore. And I used to do that all the time. So I know from once I talk about this, I was there. I came from there. I know how much of a problem that can be. Because you're not really accomplishing anything. In the long run, you feel bad about it as well. And you get very little sleep, and all of a sudden that's a cycle that continues to go bad over time because you're not getting sleep and your resistance level is lower, and all those things happen. So again, happiness and semen retention, I love what Eduardo was talking about. I wanted to kind of comment on that. And there is a strong connection here, warriors, between being a happy human being and keeping your energy and keeping what God gave you. And that to me is the life and the truth. And I think that as more and more people realize that, they'll realize that we've been kind of bamboozled all these years with that matrix, that blue matrix we've been listening to, where people in this world want you to believe certain things, that you follow a pattern or buy a product, or they have power or control over you, and you should never let that happen. You continue to battle on until your last days, and that's the way it should go. I don't care if you're playing on a field, or doing anything else. You need to have that attitude that no one is going to conquer you, and you're going to make conquerors of yourself and other things around you. So, all right, my friends, a little longer tonight, but I felt good on this one. I really feel like this is something I enjoy talking about because I just feel tremendous, just unbelievable with all the things that have happened over the last 1,000 days, and want to continue kind of building on this and get and see what awaits me in the next 1,000 days as we go along too. So, all right, my friends, God bless you guys. Thanks again, Eduardo. Shout out to you, my friend. And remember 2 things. First of all, every day is a great day to a great warrior. And secondly, don't forget, my friends, to battle